Hello everyone, I hope you guys are all having a fabulous Monday. Today I'm coming at you with another Minks Monday Q&A. Before we get started, let me share the bag that I'm currently using and still using, the Chanel Jumbo in the black caviar leather with the gold hardware. I told you guys last week that I was going to continue to use it until I do a review on it, so I'm having a blast doing so. Alright, so let's get started with the very first question, shall we? From Rachel Z. Just wondering, what do you think about Chanel's Coco Boy pattern? It's half quilted and half chevron pattern. I would have had a picture for you guys, but I accidentally deleted it right before I sat down to do this video. But anyways, just like Rachel said, the Coco Boy pattern is half quilted, half chevron, and I'm kind of intrigued by it. One of my sales associates sent me a picture of a wallet on chain with that pattern, and I kind of like it. I really like the way that they fuse together the quilted with the chevron. I think it works. I don't think it's too out there. I don't think it's too edgy. And you guys know that I tend to like classic designs or classic details from certain fashion houses, but I don't know. I don't know if it was the patent leather. I don't know if it was the pattern itself, but I really liked it. And I think it's fun. I think it's a really fun pattern to have. Okay, Meow Kitty Cat Eyes. That's a very cool name. I have an authentication question. I've made quite a few purchases through, I'm not going to say who, but a very well-known online consignment shop, and I had a wonderful experience throughout all the big and small goodies I got. I never attempted any authentication since this place guarantees authenticity. Should I still do my own authentication process? And if so, who would you recommend I turn to? This is a fantastic question. The way that I feel about it is, if there's ever a shred, the smallest shred, that something is not authentic, I always say, get it authenticated again. You know, peace of mind speaks volumes to me, and if you don't have that peace of mind with the item that you have, that you're purchasing pre-loved, whether it's an online consignment shop that guarantees authenticity, or, you know, whoever it is, you want to feel good about it, because if you don't feel good about it, the joy from that item will just not be there. It will hinder you from being able to enjoy the piece that you purchased, you know, to the full extent. And I wanted to let you guys know about something that happened to me a few months ago. I'm not trying to go on a super, you know, long tangent, but I just thought I'd share it with you guys. A few months ago, I got an item from a client, and the client had purchased it from an online consignment shop that guarantees authenticity as well, and they had the receipts, the tags, the paperwork, everything, right? Not the original tags for the item, but the item that they sent me was a small leather good from Louis Vuitton, and it was a Damier Ebene pouch. It was kind of like a larger pouch. It reminded me of the Monogram Vernis type of pouch, that type of size, but it was a clay. And when I first opened it up, something didn't feel right. You know what I mean? I felt very, I questioned the item right away, even though it came from a very well-known online consignment shop. Okay, so all it said on the description was a small leather good from Louis Vuitton in Damier Ebene. That was it. I spent 2 weeks researching the item that my client had sent me, and I couldn't find any details on it whatsoever. And the thing that threw me off the most was the fact that the hardware was too new for the age of the item. Does that make sense? So you know how like Louis Vuitton sometimes introduces different styles of hardware with certain items, you know, throughout the years they'll bring out, I don't know, just different little things. Like sometimes the grommets might change, or sometimes the chain might change, little details. Well, the hardware details on this particular item didn't match up to the age of the SLG. So it further, you know, that's the red flag that went off. And it didn't seem right. It didn't seem like it worked. So I had it authenticated twice by 2 other authenticators. One of the authenticators said that their decision was, or their answer was inconclusive. And the other authenticator said that yes, it is authentic. And I asked them, what is the name of it? And they said, we don't know. It's just a small leather good. That wasn't good enough. So what I ended up doing is I called the online consignment shop that my client purchased this item from. And my client, this was the the second time that they had purchased from this particular online consignment shop. And usually they end up buying everything brand new and whatnot. But anyways, I called the online consignment shop and I said, you know, I have a question about this particular item, and I would like you to let me know, what is this actually called? If you guarantee authenticity, what is this item called? You know, I can't find any information on it. So they said, let me get back to you. We'll call you back in a few days, or we'll email you in a few days. I think 3 or 4 days went by, and I got their email, and they said, we don't know the name. All we know is it's a small leather good from Louis Vuitton. So I called them. I called them again, and I said, how are you going to authenticate something if you don't even know the name? That is not good enough. I'm sorry. And they just said, well, you know, it's Louis Vuitton and it's this and that. And I said, how do you know that maybe they are authentic pieces from Louis Vuitton? I mean, maybe someone put them together and made one piece. I'm like, I haven't been able to find a single thing on this particular item. I haven't found any detailing. I haven't found anything, and it just doesn't seem right. Is it a VIP item? Maybe, you know, because sometimes they come out with different pieces. They couldn't tell me, and I just said, you know, I don't feel comfortable with this. And then they said that they'll end up taking the item back. So I sent it back to my client. My client sent it back to them. It was a whole, I mean, it wasn't just that easy, right? There's a whole other mess that happened in between. But regardless, that's just what I wanted to let you guys know. If you have a doubt, if you don't feel comfortable about it, I say go ahead and get it authenticated. If it happens 2 or 3 times for you to get it authenticated, it doesn't matter, and not in my opinion, especially if you're spending the amount of money that you're spending on these items. And this was an online consignment shop that everyone knows, and the fact that they just came back with kind of a weird answer, it didn't seem right. You know what I mean? So I'm always very, very, very thorough, and especially when it comes to my business, I am very particular. I look at every nook and cranny, and, you know, I've gotten things authenticated 3, 4 different times from 4 different places, just so I know that what I'm selling is the real deal. You know what I mean? Because I told you guys before, I was taken advantage of way back when I first started into this whole luxury world thing, and I hated every minute of it when I felt that someone was trying to pull the wool over my eyes, and I felt kind of taken advantage of. I felt stupid, to be honest, and I would never, ever want anyone to feel that way. So whether you buy from an online consignment shop, whether you buy from your best friend or whoever it is, if you don't feel comfortable, I say go ahead and get it authenticated. And I will make sure on the description box below to let you guys know about some authentication services that you guys can go through. Some of them charge nominal fees, and some of them will give you emails, or they'll give you the proper certifications that you need, like if you ever buy from eBay, or if you buy from you know, other places, and you know, that way if you have the right paperwork, so you can get your money back if something like that happens. Okay, so next question. Beth Herrera. I have a Speedy 30 that was passed down to me, but I really wanted it monogrammed with my initials and the stripe down the middle. Would Louis Vuitton monogram older pieces, or would I have to purchase a new one? This is a fantastic question as well. Actually, truth be told, whenever you buy a mono piece from Louis Vuitton, they end up painting the stripes on there and the initials on there first, and then they cut the piece to the size of the bag that you're getting. So if you get a Speedy 35 or a Speedy 30 or a Neverfull or whatever it is, they end up painting everything first. So unfortunately, the only way to be able to get those items monogrammed with the stripes and things like that would be to purchase it brand new. Obviously, you can always get it hot stamped with your initials. They can do the smaller letters, or they can do the larger letters, but regardless, if you want the stripe, you'd have to purchase brand new. Okay. Lissa, I think. I have 2 questions. Where is your necklace from, and where is Edward? This is in reference to the necklace that I was wearing last week. I brought it up here so you guys can see it. I actually did an unboxing on my FabFitFun box that they sent me, and they had this little necklace in here, and it says happy on there. It's just a little bar necklace. I think it's sterling silver and 18 karat gold or something like that. But I've been wearing it to death, and I really like it because number one, it says happy, and I'm a very happy person. And I don't know, I really like the way where it lands on my neck, but that's where it's from. And Edward was actually sleeping. He's usually sleeping in my room. Right now he is actually in the living room, but yeah, he's usually hanging out with me when I do these videos. Okay, Cheryl Vuitton. I was wondering about the person that left the question about the canvas cracking on their SLGs. This is also in reference to what we talked about last week. Couldn't they call the 1866 number and get some assistance? The thought of paying all that money you pay for Louis Vuitton SLGs to take good care of them by keeping them stored until use and then to be told the canvas just cracks sometimes? No, I'm sorry, but I need another answer. My oldest LV is dated back to 1988. I haven't had any problems with canvas cracking yet, although I've just always stored the bag in its dust bag. Could the canvas cracking / bubbling of the lining be due to the LV decline in quality? Just wondering. This is another great point that Cheryl has brought up. And I wanted to show you guys what it was that I was talking about last week. This is the removable coin pouch in my Josephine wallet. And this is where I started to notice that I started to have bubbling. I actually ended up getting all of these replaced. But do you guys see, let me see if this is, okay, do you guys see those little bubbles there? I stored my SLGs in the box, like I told you guys before, in the beginning, in the box with the box open so that the leather could breathe. And I guess it wasn't good enough. I ended up taking them out afterwards. And then I started to notice maybe 2 or 3 months later that this started happening. All the bubbling throughout, all of them. My Demi Azur, my Demi Ben, and my Monogram all had the same exact things on them. See, right there, you can see it. And when I took it to Louis Vuitton, they said that because it's a thinner canvas, or because it's a thinner leather, it'll start to happen. And then another sales associate said that I didn't care for my items properly. That's why it was starting to bubble, which really made me upset because I'm very careful with my items. So what I ended up doing is I called Louis Vuitton. Oh yes, I called Louis Vuitton this past weekend, and I wanted to hear their thoughts on how we can prevent cracking from our SLGs or handbags or whatnot, so that it can help us out to, maybe there's a secret that we don't know, that maybe these SLGs will be able to last a lifetime without having any issues. So I wrote them down. Okay, so I called 2 different sales associates. The first sales associate said, this is what I asked. I asked how to prevent cracking canvas, especially on items that are either over a year old or brand new items. How do I take care of them? One sales associate said, don't use water, lotion, perfume, don't store in heat, avoid constant handling, avoid any moisture-filled rooms. Okay, so don't touch it, don't use lotion, don't use perfume, avoid constant handling. And the item that I actually asked about was a 4-key holder. And I was kind of, a 4-key holder, you're going to use it, right? It's going to be in your hand. And I said, okay, but what, it's a small leather good. And they said, we know, but, if you just avoid all those things, it'll make your item last a lot longer. So to which I said, maybe it was kind of a smart ass way to say it, but I said, so pretty much you're saying I should just let it sit on its shelf and then never do anything to it. I don't think she was very happy with that answer. Okay, so I was like, okay, so you have to be careful. I've always, we've always talked about not using lotion and stuff like that, but I just felt that some of these were a little excessive, in my opinion. And then the second person said, canvas doesn't crack unless it's poorly cared for. Okay, duly noted. I consider myself very careful with my items. And the fact that, first of all, neither one of them had a good response, and neither one of them had the same response. I don't know. It made me further think, like, really? Cheryl, you are absolutely 100% correct. If we're paying the amount of money that we're paying for these small leather goods, let me know what I can do to take care of them. The first person obviously said don't use water, lotion, don't handle it too often. I think some of them were a little excessive, but for the most part, I make sense. Why would I leave any of my canvas pieces in the sun? I get that. So it was kind of interesting to hear, but obviously the 1866 number didn't end up working out for me, and I guess they didn't have a good answer so that I can share it with you guys, so that we can feel better about our items, you know. So I don't know. Could it be to the decline, that, you know, the items cracking and bubbling? Maybe. I'd say it's more, I've had a few people say this, that maybe they're just making so much of it, or maybe they're cutting corners on making some items because they need to, you know, just produce more and more items. I don't know. Or maybe they're just cutting corners because they want to have more of a profit. I have no idea. But I was really sad to hear the responses that I got from the sales associates. So I don't know. Okay, Sparkly Pink Wisteria. What is your opinion on the Neverfull MM Totem? Do you think it is a bit expensive compared to the regular Neverfull MM? Usually when it comes to any type of bag that has a little bit more detailing, you know, designs to the bag or to the item, it'll end up being a little bit more expensive, kind of like the illustration pieces from Louis Vuitton. They're a little bit more expensive than normal pieces that you would get from the fashion house. I'm not a big fan of the totem. You know, this is just my personal opinion. I think in the beginning, I was really excited the fact that they started to add different colors to the monogram canvas. Like you had I think the totem came in what was it? It was like an orange, and then it was a purple, and they had other little, you know, blues and different colors to add on to the detailing. And I was really excited that they were starting to introduce different colors and different contrasts with the monogram canvas pieces. But in the end, I'm not a big fan of it. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I posted a picture of the patchwork Louis Vuittons that we were talking about last week. And I'm just waiting for a Neverfull with black trim. Really. I just think that would be fantastic. Without any other bells and whistles, I don't need that. I just want simple monogram canvas and, you know, black trim, or for them to introduce different colors with the monogram canvas. I think that would be fun, but I would rather them introduce them with colors that kind of, what's the word? That complement the monogram canvas. You know what I mean? Like, it just, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the totem personally. I know some people will disagree with me, but it's just a little too much detailing for me. It's a little the colors are just too much, I think, for my liking. But again, that's just my humble opinion. Okay, Pink Girl 3533. What are your thoughts on the Pallas clutch in noir? Would you choose this over the Eva in mono? I'm short and the strap on the Eva is too long for me, but I'm also not a fan of the Favorite because I prefer zipper closure. I also like the strap. I like that the strap is not Vachetta and I won't have to worry. Is it worth the price tag of $1,100? Do you think that the leather tabs on either side would curl up eventually? The Pallas clutch, which she said retails for $1,100 here in the States. I really like it. I think it's very classy. It's a little bit smaller than the Eva clutch as far as length. And I think it's a little bit dressier. I think I like the fact that it has a different type of colored strap so it has the treated leather. It has that beautiful leather detailing with the canvas. I think it's a really, really nice bag. Do I think that the sides of it will tend to curl up? I think they will eventually. Not as much as some of the other pieces like the Speedies. You know how the tabs end up curling up all the time, usually depending upon how you store it or how old it is. Now, I think because the leather is a little bit softer on the Pallas clutch, it won't be as noticeable. Personally, I don't think it will be anyways. But I think it works, and I really like the strap drop that it has, and I think it's a really, really nice bag. Do I think it's worth the $1,100 price tag? That's where I'm kind of, I don't know. The positive is that it does have different leather than the Eva clutches have, and different leather than the Favorites, and I just think it's a little classier. So I'm kind of on the fence as far as the price goes, but I do really think it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. And I think it's very dressy compared to the other two, the Favorite and the Eva Clutch. So really the question is, does your heart sing when you see it? If it does, then I say go for it. Okay. Rhodey Piper. Rhodey? Am I saying that right? Hopefully. Hello, this is a guy here. Hello. I stumbled across your page and I just want to ask a question. I'm looking to get my girlfriend a luxury belt. She absolutely loves belts as well as loves Louis Vuitton and Chanel. And I'm unsure if I should buy her a Louis Vuitton belt. Are they good quality? Will it hold up? Do you own any luxury belts? Okay, so first of all, welcome. And from what I have heard, that the Louis Vuitton belts are good quality. A lot of people love the Louis Vuitton belts. I personally don't have any. The main reason is because I don't have hips. I feel like I'm built like a boy. I don't have, you know, the voluptuous curves. And whenever I wear a belt, whether I'm wearing a belt or whether I'm not, the pants just won't stay up type of thing. You know what I mean? So I don't own any belts, no. But a lot of people absolutely rave about Louis Vuitton belts. I think I would rather go for an all leather belt versus the canvas belt. The only reason I say that, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for it, is because with all the issues that they've been having with canvas cracking or with just canvas in general, you know, a belt is obviously something that you are going to use quite a bit, whether you're standing up, sitting down. The constant movement that your body is creating when you use a belt might cause it to wear a little bit quicker. I know my husband wears belts every single day, and he's very, very, I don't know if he's hard on his belts, but you can see the wear on them very, very easily. So for that matter, I would rather go with an all leather belt, because, you know, you don't have to worry about canvas cracking or anything like that versus a canvas belt. Also, a lot of people have said that they would prefer getting an Hermes belt over a Louis Vuitton belt because of the same thing. So the Hermes belts are all leather, and, you know, they have very, very sturdy leather versus just having the canvas. Obviously, it's canvas on the outside, and then they have leather on the inside of the Louis Vuitton belts. They also have epi leather. They have a bunch of other leather belts, but that's what I would end up doing, going for a leather belt versus canvas because of all the issues that they've been having. I think it was last year when I was thinking about buying my brother a Louis Vuitton belt for Christmas. When I went into the boutique, I was talking to my sales associate and I said, you know, how well do they wear? How comfortable can I feel about this purchase? And she told me that, you know, the way that a belt wears is inevitable. And if it starts to crack, I mean, that's just part of, that's what she said. She said, it's just part of how it wears. I don't want cracking canvas, and I'm sure that when you give your girlfriend a gift, right? Your girlfriend, I want to make sure that was right. Yes, your girlfriend a gift, you want to make sure that it lasts a long time. So I would go for an all leather belt, whether you go for the Hermes belt or whether you go for a Louis Vuitton belt, just for the sake of the issues that they've been having with the canvas. Those are just my 2 cents, and like I said, everyone's going to think differently. A lot of people are going to say I'm crazy, you know, but I just, obviously, you know, when I give something as a gift, I want to make sure that they'll be able to use it for a long time, especially with the amount of money that you're going to be spending on these luxury brands. Okay, Victoria Bryant. Okay, so I have a rogue question / comment. I may be a weirdo and possibly am going to get in trouble with a bunch of people with this. Ready? I don't get the hype about Birkins. I think they're hideous looking bags. Seriously, I think they are really ugly and plain and no oomph to them at all. Just a big ugly square with a loop at the top. Like everyone is drooling over these bags, and I have looked over and over at them and I think, I feel like I should respect and appreciate them because of their legacy. But yeah, they get no love here. What is my deal? No, you are not alone, Victoria. I'm sure a lot of people will agree with you that, you know, they don't like the look of a Birkin. If you would have asked me 4 or 5 years ago what I thought about a Birkin, I would have been like, what? No, not for me. You know, and I've told you guys that recently my thoughts about them have started to change a little bit more. You know, am I going to add one to my collection anytime soon? Probably not. Do I think about adding one to my collection in the future? Yes. But you know, it's all a matter of preference. What I really like about them is the fact that they're so simple. They're simple bags. And sometimes I like the logos on things, and sometimes I just really appreciate a bag because it doesn't have this, you know, all the logos all over the place. I really appreciate the fact that they have, you know, some of the best leather that handbags have to offer. And I like that they're handmade. You know, there is a lot of hype about them as well. I will definitely agree with you. You know, some people think, like, there is no, when it comes to Hermes Birkins, that is it. There's no other bag above it, you know, and it's all a matter of personal preference if someone likes it or if someone doesn't. I think what really, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I went into the Hermes boutique to do a little bit of research on the types of leather, the type of hardware, and a little bit more information on Birkins in general. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you guys know that I like to do research on just about everything. I'm that type of person. That way, if I ever have anyone ask me a question, I can pass on that information, you know? And I had probably one of the worst experiences at the boutique I have ever had in my life. It was, you know, what the girl was saying, I could understand about Birkins in general, but she made me feel really, really, really dumb, for lack of a better word. You know, and I felt, I don't know, I hadn't felt like that in a long, long time, from when I first started getting into the whole luxury brands. And, you know, my husband, when I looked over at his face, he was actually giving her a dirty look because he didn't understand. And before it kind of escalated, I just said, let's go, let's get out of here. You know, I wasn't rude about it. I went in there wanting information, and I got the information that I wanted. But it was a really, really bad experience. And that experience put a bad taste in my mouth. But I could still appreciate the bag, and I can still appreciate the brand, but it really made me think twice about, you know, owning one of those bags in the future. But I don't know. Well, like I just said, will I own one in the future? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But it's all a matter of preference. I know, my mom likes the Birkin. She likes the way the silhouette is. And then when I show it to my husband, he's like, he's like, I don't like it. I don't like it either. He prefers Chanel over Hermes. But like I said, to each their own. But no, you're not crazy at all. You're not, you don't have a deal. Okay, Lori K. Quick question. I can't decide between a Speedy B25 Ebene or a Celine micro luggage in black smooth leather. I already have two Speedy 30s, Mono and Azure. Which do you think is more of a standout piece? I know one goes crossbody and the other doesn't, but which makes more of a statement? Or do you think Celine bags are out and overpriced for what they are? Okay, so you can have the trifecta. You know, you have the monogram, you have the Azure, you can add the Ebene and have the trifecta of the canvases. You know, as much praise as I give the Speedy Bandolier 25, a Celine micro luggage, I really like them. I'm sorry. I have thought long and hard about adding another one, or adding another Celine to my collection. I really like them. I absolutely love their leather. And some people might say that they're out. They're not the it bags anymore. And that makes it a little bit better for me, I guess, because if I'm going to get a bag, it's because I really like it. Not so much because there's hype around it, or not, not because it's the it bag or stuff like that. I know sometimes I have done that in the past. But I really like the micro luggage. I think it's such a fun piece. It is a little bit heavy. It will get a little bit heavy, when you add all your goodies inside. But I don't know. It just speaks to me. I feel like a Speedy Bandolier you can get anytime. I'm sure you can get the micro luggage anytime as well. But I don't know. I really like Celine. And I only have one of their bags, which is the Phantom. But I'm just a big fan of that brand. I really like their items. I really do. So I've thought about either adding an Yves Saint Laurent to my collection or another Celine piece to my collection, because either one, I don't know. I can't decide. So for that matter, I would go for the Celine. And our last question from 408 California 408. Question for your next Q&A. What are your thoughts on stuffing your bags with small pillows instead of the bubble wrap? Is one better than the other? Also, do you think if the pillows are colored, it would rub off into the interior of your bag? I see some people with small red pillows that they put in their bags. Also, when stuffing your bags, are you supposed to stuff it in super tight to where there's no bulges or creases in the bag, or should it not be super stuffed, or they could possibly stretch the canvas? Okay, these are all fantastic questions. What are my thoughts on stuffing small pillows instead of bubble wrap? If you use the type of pillows that don't have anything that can cause moisture, such as feather pillows, or sometimes even some of the acrylic ones might end up causing a little bit of moisture. And the only reason I say that is because a long time ago, I ended up stuffing one of my bags with I actually had two of them. I had one of them with a with a towel, and then I had another one with a pillow, and I felt that because I didn't use those bags so much in my rotation, not that it left a mildewy type smell, I know it's going to sound really disgusting, but it kind of left somewhat of a smell because it seemed like it was starting to create a little bit of moisture from the type of materials that the pillow and the towel were made out of. So for that reason, I have only stuck to using air paper because air paper doesn't create the moisture. Not only that, it doesn't add any more weight to your bag. So personally, I would prefer to use air paper or bubble wrap or something like that. If you do end up using the pillows, I know there's a few companies that make pillows for bags, but I would go with the type of pillow that has, you know, like the silica packets that you get in some of your leather goods that end up collecting or absorbing any of the moisture. I would go for the types of pillows that have those little type of balls inside as the material to make sure it soaks up any of the moisture, and that way you avoid having that mildewy type smell, or it smells kind of like oh, I wish I could describe it because it's not mildew, but there's a distinct smell that it is. So I would always try to avoid that. As far as color rubbing inside of the bag, I don't think so, unless the type of pillow or the type of material that you're using to stuff the bag is highly dyed or is very, very dyed. Then I would be a little bit more worried if it was a demi-azur piece or a rose ballerine piece, just in case, because if you store your bags somewhere where there isn't a lot of where it's a little bit hotter in your room or hotter in the space, it might end up causing it to not leak, but it might end up causing it to, oh, what's the word? I am having the hardest time. It'll end up causing it to stain, maybe. I don't know, but I would always try to avoid that, so I'd be careful on that. And as far as stuffing it, I think I've answered most of them, all of them, yes. As far as stuffing the bag, whenever you stuff any of your bags, you definitely don't want to overstuff them to the point where you're stretching out the zipper too much, but you also want to stuff them to the point where those little creases, those little bulges aren't there. And the reason I say that, especially when it comes to stuffing the Speedies and the Keepalls, because those have a little bit more of an awkward shape to them. The reason I say that is because over time, if those bags don't end up in your rotation too much, the creases that it's causing will end up maybe making the item end up cracking, cracking the canvas over time. And obviously, we always want to avoid that. But you always want to make sure that it's stuffed to the point where it holds its shape. That's the most important thing, to make sure it holds its shape, not to the point where it's stretching out the zipper too much. But definitely that's what I would do. And I know that I have used, oh my goodness, I feel like I use rolls and rolls of air paper, or, items, tons of air paper to stuff the Keepalls. But to me, it's important to make sure that they don't have those creases because they're always a pain in the butt to get rid of, personally. But I would always try to avoid that. And again, when it comes to the pillows, make sure it's a type of pillow that won't create too much moisture, because then you will end up having that funky, that funky mildew-esque type of smell. You know what I mean? So you want to avoid that. All right, you guys. So that does it for Minks Mondays. And I also get questions all the time about whether or not, you know, especially because I've been talking to you guys about all the decrease in quality with Louis Vuitton and my thoughts on it, while I end up adding pieces to my collection. At the moment, I think I'm taking a step back, and just kind of reevaluating everything. I really do like their luggage pieces. I can definitely see myself buying more keep alls because I really enjoy them. But at the moment, I'm just taking some time off from the brand, you know, just to see how I feel about it, like I told you guys in the last couple of videos. And I always get questions about where you guys can ask Minks Monday questions. I would appreciate it so much if you would ask your questions on the current, I call it MMQA, Minks Monday Q&A. That way I can see it when I'm answering the questions, and then it'll be on next week's, if that makes any sense. I don't know. But anyways, that does it for Minks Monday. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the amazingly wonderful questions. And I know I went on a few tangents, but let's be honest, I felt like, you know, we have to talk about these things, and that's how I am. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not. The choice is yours. Have a great day, you guys.